Well, technology, as it were, encompasses a huge body of knowledge and tools that ease the use of economic resources as a way of to produce goods and services efficiently, of course, effectively. With the introduction of innovations, technological progress is essential to the economic growth and development. And more advanced the technology available, the more quickly the local and global economy can, of course, improve. Its role in economic development cannot be overemphasized as it affects with its impact on time management in the production of goods and services, thereby contributing to the overall profits of a business. It's not news that the invasion of COVID-19 pandemic has forced many to embrace the utilization or utilize technology effectively, and it is touching every area and every sector of the economy. It has also fostered international trade, research, industry expansion, specialization, and efficiency. Well, to give an in-depth analysis into how technology can further drive economic development in Nigeria, I have joining me live from our Abuja studios is Mr. Dairu Mohammed. He is the chairman of the Presidential Implementation Committee on Technology. Mr. Mohammed Dairu, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Yes, first, I would like to ask you to explain to us your task. I look at this office being very big, Presidential Implementation Committee on Technology Transfer. Tell us what's your objective before we go into other issues that have to do with technology across the country.
I want to use this opportunity to inform you that President Muhammadu Buhari set up the Presidential Implementation Committee on Technology Transfer with an expanded mandate to accelerate the implementation of the corporate agreement signed between participating countries to support and promote bilateral and multilateral scientific research and development. In the year 2014, the Czech Republic started a program called Delta II, where they share technology within the developed countries, within Europe, America, and Asia. So the president then mandated us to see how we can go into such agreement and also tap on the technological prowess of these countries and see how we can transfer it back to Nigeria and see how we can have private sector assess it in order to develop their products, goods and services, so that we can be able to produce at least the things we consume here in Nigeria. So after so much efforts, we are the first country to be incorporated into the agreement, and we have agreed with these developed countries to share technology with us in about 12 thematic areas, which include biotechnology and pharmaceutical research, agriculture and food technology, mining industry, energy technology, sustainable transportation system, environmental protection, ICT, nanoscience and nanotechnology, genomic medicine, digital archive system, and any other area that the entrepreneurs of the countries can agree upon to see how we can tap that technology and improve our processes here in Nigeria. So the implementation, as you can see, is going to start in earnest this year, and within the next 2-3 years, and all the economy will feel the impact of what we are going to do.
Okay, that's a good way to start, Mr. Dairu. Technology disruptions have greatly redefined business and the entirety of the global and economic space. And it's no longer business as usual, solely depending on traditional models. Now, what are the biggest prospects and mistakes of startups, large corporates, and governments from your perspective in the utilization of technology for resource utilization and capacity optimization?
You see, when we're talking about technology, the major component that drives technology in every country is research, development, and innovation. And what we have seen in Nigeria for the past years, we have not invested much on research and development. And there is a disconnect between our research institutes, which include government-established institutes that are involved in research, and our universities with the business community. So unless we are able to bring the two together so that our research and development institutes will undertake research that are market-driven and can be commercialized, then we cannot have the necessary impact of technology in our economy. So what this committee is doing is to see how the government can provide the enabling environment for this research and development to take place in line with industry needs, so that whatever the research institutes or our universities are undertaking the research on is what we need as a country in order to produce the goods and services that we need, so that we can stop importation. It is disheartening that at this age we still import things that we have the capacity and the resources to produce here in Nigeria. What we just lack is the technology. So that disconnect is what we are trying to see that we will bring together the industry players, the research institutes, and the foreign components that have these technologies, so that they can bring it here to Nigeria, and we form a solid forum that we can now drive this thing to the market. Because as long as we are not market driven, when the technology research, the research institutes that we are doing here in Nigeria will not take us anywhere.
Let me follow up with agriculture, because I see that there's a passion from government and all spheres. Everyone is talking about development of agriculture in Nigeria, particularly as we even think of diversification, not just what we consume, I think what we can also export, so that we can make some foreign exchange. How can technology and innovation help us actualize all of this, smoothing up the value chain?
You see, if you look at the entire agricultural value chain and the ecosystem of agriculture in Nigeria, you see that the government over the years have a lot of programs that are geared towards developing agriculture. You can go as far back as Obasanjo, the Operation Feed the Nation, the Green Revolution, the DFRI during IBB, and so many other agricultural programs that the government have came up with. But the disconnect is that, the government by its nature is not set up to operate like a business entity because of the bureaucratic bottlenecks. And for us to drive our agriculture to a level where we can attract investors, we have to open it up to businesses. And I was discussing with some of the government officials when we first came up, because the president told us that our priority area should be agriculture. I told them that the government over this administration over this has done a lot on agriculture. So many interventions have come, Anchor Borrower Scheme on fertilizer and tractor, but still we're having food crisis in Nigeria because we have not addressed the fundamental problem, which is the foundation for you to have a robust agricultural scheme in every country. That is the irrigation system. We have about 3.4 million land that can be used for irrigation in Nigeria, but only about 3.4 million hectares. Only about 88,000 hectares are being utilized after rainy season. So no matter the intervention you put in agriculture, if you cannot farm all year round, the outputs will remain the same. So we have, that's our main priority now, is that we have spoken to some of our partners in Europe, and we are going to deploy large-scale irrigation systems using the best technology that is available, driven by private sector and supported by government, to see how we can increase our irrigation potential in Nigeria within the next 3-4 years. If we can be able to improve that to about 1 million, 2 million hectares, we will not have food crisis. And secondly, it is only when we are able to produce enough that we can be able to attract processing plants to be established in all these agricultural zones. Because you cannot come and set up a processing plant where you don't have the produce to process. If you look at our rice mills now, most of them are operating below 50% capacity because they don't have paddy to process. Why? Because we only dry on rainy season, which is an uncontrolled irrigation system for us to have the paddy for them to process. So if we are able to now use technology to expand the hectares we have in our irrigation master plan from the 88,000 that we're doing now to about 1 million, 2 million, 3 million over a period of time, imagine the impact it will have in terms of the quantity of produce that we produce for us to consume.
That's a good one. Let's now look at how do we begin to develop strong protections of intellectual property and data as African startups especially are coming up with digital solutions. And do you see more interfaces between B2B as well as governments with tech firms navigating the solution keys to key sectoral developments?
Yeah, you see, if you look at our ICT industry, it has developed rapidly because the government stepped back and is able to provide enabling environment and regulation and support to that industry. Prior to the coming of GSM, when the government was the one managing NITEL, you know what we all went through. And you know then that the ICT industry was not nowhere to be found. But when the government decided to allow private sector to play its role in that sector while providing the enabling environment and requisite regulatory framework for them to operate, you can see that it is one of the most developed sectors in Nigeria. So we have to do that not only in ICT but also in other areas. And the only way is for the government to provide the opportunity for B2B interaction with our partners that are willing to come and assess our market here, because we have the market in Nigeria, we have the human resources. It's just for us to develop our capacity. There is no company around the world that is not looking at Nigeria. If we can be able to sort our issues in terms of insecurity and providing the enabling business environment, believe you me, not only the ICT industry, all other sectors will have the desired investors coming in order to transform it.
Well said. Let's now tell us about your partners. You're not going to be in this journey alone, clearly. Who are those you're going to work with to actualize this dream? Because there's a lot of prospects in this. So tell us about some of your partners.
What we have discussed with our partners in Europe and other countries that are participants in the Delta II program is that they have asked us to come back home because they were the ones that know our needs. We should come back home, discuss with our own companies and our own private sector players and determine areas we are interested in them to come and transfer technology to us and commercialize that technology and share profit together, because they have the technology, we have the market. Yes, but we know our market more than them. So we are now what we are going to do, we are going to start our stakeholder engagement. We are going to go around the country, meet industry players, look at their need, assess it, put it in our terms of reference, and forward it to them over there. And the Delta 2 Secretariat will look at it and look at and identify those partners that will help us to bring the technology, develop whatever we are going to develop, and commercialize it. So we are going around the country. We are going to have so many partners, but it is going to be solely private sector driven. Government is only there to provide the support and provide the enabling environment. And as I told you, the president gave us the first 3 areas that he wants us to concentrate, which is agriculture, mining, and small-scale industries. You know, if you go to the southeast, you see a lot of start-up business that are very good. All they need is little technology for them to blossom. So we are going there. Go to Aba, go to Onitsha, go to, you will see them. There are so many. So we are going to go around the country and identify those potentials and do the matchmaking with the potential foreign partners for them to come and assess the technology so that we can see how we move this economy forward.
Let's now talk again a little bit on agriculture again. Making Africa a more fertile environment for dynamic technology, startups need to obviously become an urgent priority of both the public and private sector. Now, for Nigeria, what sort of interface directly would you like to see between tech startups and other startups in other fields like agriculture? What particular interface do you think they should be having at the moment?
In our agricultural startup, I want us to look at those areas that will rely more of importing what we need. Like I was looking at one report, and I felt so bad that in West Africa we spend over $1 billion every year on importation of egg powder. So, and if you look at Nigeria, we have a lot of poultry farms. Our poultry business is growing, but very few people. I don't think we have one or two people that are focusing on bringing the technology that we can produce egg powder, which most of the food industries in Nigeria need, and they have to import it every year. So these are the kind of startups we want to see. Startups that will come and then substitute, import substitution, so that we can stop importing all these things and start producing them since we have them here. So these are the kind of things we want to see, and these are the kind of things we are going to support with whatever they need to succeed in terms of bringing the required technology and providing the government support. There are so many areas in agricultural value chain that we can do that. It may surprise you to know that within the first quarter of this year, we use about 250-something billion in the protection of wheat. Imagine how that affects our foreign exchange. And so many other things. We are even hearing now some people are asking the government to allow them import maize for their factories when we can produce it here in Nigeria. So we have to have a startup that can go and start producing this in mass and service these industries so that we can stop importing things that ordinarily we can produce here in Nigeria. The opportunities are enormous. It's just for us to go through the nitty-gritty of it, see what is required, what technology is needed, so that we can get our startup to start from there, so that we can give them the required support and stop this importation of everything we eat.
Honestly, it's very important. Before I let you go on a final note, you've talked very much about research and its importance into technology development and of course advancement. Can you kindly just identify the easy wins and low-hanging fruits in this initiative that you've embarked on?
Last 3 weeks, we had roundtable for the Federal University of Petroleum Resources. And what I told them there, and I told the Vice Chancellor, is that even in our oil industry, there are so many things that you can develop. And these oil companies must patronize you, because we have the local content law that states that whatever we can produce in Nigeria, you cannot go outside and bring it in. So our research institute, which involve both government base and those that are stations in the universities, must be able to see how they can do research that are market driven. It is only when you do that that the private sector can even come and invest on research and development. But if a company knows that if I spend money on research that will improve my process or reduce my cost, why wouldn't they invest in it? But what we are seeing in Nigeria now, there is a huge disconnect between our research institute and what the industry needs. And that is one of the gaps we are going to cover, and we're going to see that we bring these two players together, the research institute and the industry players, and to see how we can work together in harmony in doing the research that are market driven.
I think that is a good way to leave it. Thank you very much for your time, for joining us this afternoon on the show. I'll be speaking to Mr. Mohammed Dahiru. He's the chairman of the Presidential Implementation Committee on Technology Transfer, live from our Abuja studios. Thank you very much for your time. We'll keep a tab with you, and we hope you always update us to let us know how things are playing out and how you're actualizing every aspect of this, your initiative.
All right, thank you very much.